Welcome back. President Trump expected to sign a set of resolutions imminently that would scrap California's zero emissions rules and electric vehicle mandates. Top leaders there are promising to fight back. Listen.
Right above President Trump, above the Resolute desk, interestingly, is a portrait of Ronald Reagan. He'll be looking down in shame when you sign this bill. He laughed, but it's not funny. Our kids and our grandkids, pollution, an act of theft.
Mike Sommers is president and CEO of the American Petroleum Institute, API. He's going to be at that signing ceremony at the White House today. What do you say to that attack from the governor? Would Ronald Reagan be, turning over in his grave?
Governor Newsom has this all wrong. This is actually Car Freedom Day. We actually have an opportunity today to give the American people a choice in the kind of car that they want to buy. This is not anti-electric vehicle. This just gives people the option to buy the car that makes sense for their lives and their families.
So here's what the current California vehicle emission standards are. All new vehicles sold to be zero emission by 2035. That would mean electric. Small government fleets must start purchasing ZEVs beginning in 2027, requiring manufacturers to increase the sales of zero emission trucks. The fly in the ointment of all of this has been that the California electrical grid is not ready for this. And then it pushes everybody in the state into EVs, even if they don't want to.
Let's be clear here. Nobody's electric grid is ready for this. And again, EVs make sense for some families. It makes sense for some people who have access to charging stations. It doesn't make sense for people who are driving long distances, mainly the working poor, who have to drive long distances to their jobs.
Or sitting in traffic for 2.5 hours.
Just like we do here in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. No, it's even worse in L.A., though.
It is. I have a son who lives in L.A., and he suffers under the Gavin Newsom regime that is pushing gas prices up every single day because of terrible policies. So what this bill does today, that President Trump is signing, which, by the way, passed by a bipartisan basis in Congress, 35 Democrats in the House of Representatives and 1 Democratic senator voted for this in the United States Senate. People understand that the American people deserve a choice of the vehicle that they want to buy. And that's what President Trump is giving back to the American people today.
What about the argument that the governor made in that soundbite and other Democrats have also made continuously and activists, which is that this is going to make the skies, I guess, smoggier, right? And pollution is, potentially toxic for everybody.
Emissions have continued to go down every single year in this country. Cars today are 99% more clean than they were in the 1970s. That progress is going to continue, but we need to continue to invest in new technologies to do that. And we've seen it over time. EVs make sense for a lot of people. We think that EVs should be on the road, but hybrids make sense and conventional vehicles make sense too. And we're going to invest in that technology to continue to make cars cleaner. The world, or the American people, this year alone will use 200 billion gallons of fuel this year. That number has basically remained the same over the course of the last 20 years. That's
Even
because
with
of
all the more cars on the road.
That's because of increased efficiencies, right?
Yeah.
We're driving more, but we're still using about the same amount of gasoline and diesel.
I know a few people have got those plug-in hybrids, and for commuting, it's great because they use the electric power, and then if they've got to go long distance, the gas motor kicks in. But you mentioned this just a second ago. The unfortunate thing about what President Trump is going to sign today is it's not going to have any effect on the #1 issue for California commuters and car drivers, and that is the price of gasoline there.
That's exactly right. And one of the reasons why the price of gasoline is going up every single week and every single year is because of taxes that they've imposed on their consumers. They have over almost $1.50 in taxes on every single gallon of gasoline, and then they put in new restrictions on California refineries, and refineries are continuing to close in the state because of those new restrictions. This is a disaster policy, and we can't let California impose those policies on the rest of the country. President Trump is putting a stop to that today.
All right, well, we got to leave it there.
We'll see you at the White House.
Enjoy your time at the White House later. Thank
Great
you
to be
for
with you.
stopping by.
Mike, thanks
with
for
us.
dropping by. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.